Oh, hi, it's Stephanie. So I just want to do another video about budgeting. As I said, a few people DM'd me and asked me what it is that I do when it comes to budgeting. I am not a financial planner. I am just a mom who likes to budget. So here we go. So what is a budgeting guideline? So what I've done, this is just simply like a jumping off point to see if you're sort of in line with what you're spending on. You can play around with things a little bit. So do what works for you and your budget. This is just simply a guideline because if you can see, oops, I'm overspending here, but you know what? It's okay because I underspend here. Then it just sort of keeps you on track or gives you a starting out point. I always know if someone is overspending because I can tell if their housing is more than, say, 25% of their budget, then that could potentially be a problem down the road. So it's just to kind of give people a guideline or a breakdown of what you should be spending on. Okay. So do what works for you. There we go. So I've mentioned in prior videos, I do the 10, 10, 30, 50. How I break my 10% down. So I do money goal one is 10%, money goal two is 10%. Now you can take this 20% and break it down however you need to based on where you are in your life right now. If you want to do 5, 5, 5, 5, or you want to do 20% directed to one goal completely, then do what works for you. So, some possible goals that you could be working on. So, if you're at a really comfortable place in your life, you're able to take care of yourself, and you value giving and you want to make that a 10% money goal, then do that. If you're saving for something, depending on where you are in your life, that could be if you're a younger person, maybe you're saving for a vehicle, maybe you're saving to go to school, maybe you're saving for a home, or if you already got a home established and everything, perhaps now you're saving towards your retirement. So that's what part of this 20% could be. It could even be two savings goal. Maybe one goal is saving for retirement and one saving for a house. Like this should be based on your particular goals and where you are at your life. Um, Everyone should be working actively to pay down debt because once you get rid of your debt, you can throw more money towards your other goals there. Okay, so debt repayment and getting out of debt should be your goal. If you don't know where to start there. If you're in a lot of debt or you've got like bill collectors and things calling you, maybe money goal one is tackling those like pressing debts. So those are debts that are literally calling you to pay them. That could be that one. Your money goal two is maybe working a debt snowball with like payments you're on time with. So that's just an idea. I do have other videos on the debt snowball. So if you're not sure where to start with that, just comment below. I can always post a link. Okay, spending. So part of the 10, 10, 30, 50 breakdown is 30% on spending. Here is just an example of some categories that you could be spending on, and you could break them down even into subcategories. So food, approximately 10 to 15% of your budget should be going towards food. 10% is probably more like your groceries wheelhouse for your family. 15%, that could be for larger families, or maybe part of this is if you enjoy going out to eat and you treat yourself, then maybe that's the higher end of your budget. So, food, you could break that down into groceries. You could further break that down into takeout or coffee money or restaurants, that kind of thing. Recreation. So, this to me is more like fun money. So, if you're maybe involved with sports leagues, um, or hobbies or things that you're passionate about, traveling, that could even be part of your travel money. Whatever your passions or hobbies or what have you is, then 5 to 10% of your budget could go towards that. And that could be also if you're not like a one person or two person family, then that could be your kids as well, right? Maybe you don't do any recreation, but you've got your kids in baseball or soccer or hockey. That just gives you an idea. Miscellaneous, that honestly could be whatever. That could be assigned to a category. Or if you want to just have some buffer in your budget of like, something's going to come up, you don't know exactly what that is yet, but you just want to throw money into a miscellaneous category for when that happens, then you've got some money set aside for that. Personal spending, that could be whatever you want to spend on personally. So maybe that's going towards a date night. Maybe that is going towards beauty, like your hair, nails, lashes, or massage, or facial, or whatever you want to put that money towards. Maybe that's buying a new tool or other man things. What do men buy? Tools, golf clubs, bats, baseball bats, or rackets, or whatever it is that men buy. That could be part of your personal spending. And as I mentioned in previous videos, it's not a horrible idea if you're part of a couple to perhaps split some of the spending money, where you give your partner some, you take the other half, and like that is to do with whatever you want. So no one's fighting about money. So if you want to save for your Botox, then you could take that money, put that aside, save for your Botox, so you're not fighting over things like that. So that's, I don't know if that's what people fight about, but that's just an idea. Okay. Bills. So 50% should be going to bills. And when I say bills, these are like the sort of needs of life. You need a house. Do you need a house you can't afford? No, probably not. Transportation, do you need a car? Yeah. Do you need a car you can't afford? Probably not. So needs are like you need it and you can afford it. Again, this is just an idea of a breakdown. I know in my instance, I don't spend quite 25% on housing. I actually spend less. I spend more on transportation. So they kind of balance each other out. Same with utilities. I don't spend 10% of my income on utilities, somewhere in between, like maybe 7%. So utilities, I put 5 to 10%. Housing, you always want to stay around or sort of below this 25%. If your housing, including your taxes, your maintenance, rent, like whatever that housing fee is, if you're going up and over 25%, you may be struggling, especially if you're almost half your income goes to your budget or out of your budget goes towards your housing. You're probably struggling, and that's probably why. But 25, and I wouldn't even go higher than 35% should be your housing. So if you're ever not making your budget, like if your expenses are overpowering your income, then you're gonna have to get your income up. That there's just no other way. So I always say, try and think of how you can double your income a year. So if you're making $50,000 a year, how can you up that to 100? What are the things you need to do? Maybe it's overtime. Maybe it's side hustles. Maybe it's having a full-time job, but then picking up 10 to 15 hours at like a part-time job or part-time job or side hustle. Or maybe you need a job that pays more. Maybe you go back to school and upgrade your skills so that you can work in a job that pays you more than that. Okay. So those are just the facts of life. Like I can't control that. So that's just all you're going to have to do. Or if you're blowing your housing budget, you might have to find a house that you can afford or rent out a room or something. You might have to figure something out there. Okay. Transportation, approximately 10%. As I said, I pay more in transportation, less in housing, but that's just a guideline. Insurance, I don't even think I pay 5% insurance. It's probably 2.5. But this, as again, is a guideline, 5 to 10% toward insurance. I think some of these numbers could be from the states, so they could reflect like insurance for like medical purposes, hence why there's also a category for health. But as we're kind of looking at being someone who works in healthcare, they're setting us up for more privatization of services. So in the future, you might have to have a category specifically for health because, especially if you don't have benefits, you might be using a portion of your health money towards dental or eye care, glasses, and like eye exams and contacts and things like that. Yeah, dental eye. That could go towards your massages or physio. Or as you get older, you may have to pay for your own private nurse or PSW or have private pay for physiotherapy or something. Maybe you have to pay out of pocket for medication. So that could be all of that. Or perhaps you have good benefits and this is maybe a gym program that you can afford that could also go up here in recreation. So just that, again, this is just a guideline to give people a jumping off point of seeing, am I on track? It doesn't have to look exactly like this. You might have categories that aren't on here, so just write your categories down. um, you definitely want to kind of specify what category this is. Maybe it's beauty or health, and then a subcategory could be your nails, your hair, your lashes, or whatever you get done. So you could do subcategories and just sort of make sure everything is on track. A good way to see if you're on track is to review your budget, which is painful for a lot of people, but it really isn't that bad. Set some time aside, print out your bank statements for the last, say, 3 to 6 months, and just take a pen and go through each category here. How much am I spending on housing? And then you might have miscellaneous things like bank fees and stuff like that. Just see, where is your money going and where do you want to go in the future. Planning really is the best way to get on track with your finances. And it starts with setting goals and then having boundaries and guidelines with where you're spending your money. All right. So I hope this video helps somebody out there, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye.